Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do my fluffy brow routine. So this is a routine I've been doing for the past, I don't know, like 6 months or so, I think. I really want my brows to look as like bushy but still as natural as possible, and that's kind of what I'm going for. And my natural brows, like I definitely do have some brow hair, but they're kind of a weird shape. I do have some pieces like missing here, obviously. And yeah, so I'm gonna do one eyebrow so you can kind of see the difference, and we're gonna do this one because it's a bit more sparse, so you can kind of see how I fill that in. And yeah, that's basically it. I do this routine pretty much all the time. I do it whether or not I'm doing a natural look or like a super glam look. There are like variations that I do if I'm running late, or if I just like, I'm not wearing very much makeup at all and I just needed like a little bit, but this is essentially what I do. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see how I achieve my fluffy brows. Hello, very close to my face. So the first step to achieving fluffy brows is the Milk Makeup Kush Lash Primer. So using a lash primer in your brows can really help get a little bit more fullness, same thing as you would do in your lashes. And this one specifically I find works really well for brows. It kind of gives them a little bit of a hold too, and sort of that almost soap brow effect. So this has been my favorite for the brows. So basically I'm just going to comb this through. I do have a little zit coming in right here, but we're just gonna ignore that. So I just really coat it, and then I'm gonna leave it alone for about 30 seconds. So I do this to let it dry a little bit. So again, it gives it that hold. And at this point I'll usually like start my eyeshadow or my foundation or whatever, but I'm just gonna be right back. Okay, so I've let it dry down for about a minute, and that's really all you need. You don't want it to be completely dry, just like a little bit, you know? And then I'm gonna take a little spoolie. This is from an e.l.f. Clear Brow Gel, and I just save these sometimes to have extra spoolies about. But basically I'm going to comb the brow hairs up, and you can see you do kind of get a little bit of like the white patches, so I just kind of like brush those with my fingers. That's basically it for the first step. So you can already see it's just sort of made the brow hairs stand up and look a little bit fuller and fluffier than they do on this side. So I wiggle woggle between these two steps sometimes, but I find it works best to use the brow pen first. So I'm gonna be going in with the Urban Decay Brow Blade. This has really been a game changer for me. Catrice has a similar product, I don't know if they still make it, that I was using beforehand, but that one I don't find is as long wearing, and it also frays a little bit more than this one. So I really like this one. I wish they sold it just with the pen, because that's really all I use anymore, but it does have like a regular pencil on the other side. So I'm gonna shake my pen. So what I'm gonna do with the pen is just go in and fill in little gaps in my brows, basically. So obviously on this brow I have a pretty major gap right here, and then also the tail is a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna extend that a little bit. So with this you wanna do very light pressure, light little strokes. So it's kind of hard to do this filming, but so you can see just very lightly. So it looks like hair strokes. You don't wanna overdo it with this part. And then I'm just gonna fill in that tail a little bit more too. If you get too much with this, you can kind of just smudge it away or take your spoolie. And sometimes I'll do that to kind of soften right there. But yeah, and then I like to take it a little bit out past the line to give those little hair strokes. And remember to be very sparing with this part. It's very easy to go overboard with this part, and then it starts to look a little weird. Now sometimes I completely avoid the front, especially if I'm doing a more natural look, but if I'm going more glam, I do a little bit in the front. Just to kind of square it off. And then I do like to go in with a spoolie very gently, just to soften it a little bit. Not totally brush it around. You could just go in with a clear brow gel at this point. As you can see, it already looks much fuller and much fluffier than this side, but I want to do a little bit more. So again, I kind of let this dry down for a little bit. It doesn't take too long to dry down because it is like a stain, but just like, you know, 30 seconds or whatever. Oh my gosh, see what this ink stain does to your fingers? Ooh. Then I'm gonna go in with my brow gel. This is from Milk. You can use any tinted brow gel really. I've used Gimme Brow before. I've used the Anastasia Dip Brow. And really any of them work, just pick your fave. So I'm wiping off most of the product actually, because we're gonna do a very light layer of this. And I have the shade Herb right now. When I was blonde, I used Taupe. So I'm gonna do a very light coating, and I am gonna back comb just a little bit, but I'm trying to really keep this off of my skin and just get the hairs, because I don't wanna disturb those nice little hair strokes we created. And then in the front, I'm just gonna wiggle right here to get these hairs to get a lot of fullness in the front. And then sometimes this can get a little messy, so I'm just gonna take a little brush and just kind of wipe away the excess product that's in areas I don't want it to be. Now obviously if you want a clean line, you could pluck like these hairs right here, but I kind of like it to look pretty messy. Okay, so again, you want to let this set down for like a minute or so before we go in with our final step. But you can already see the difference between this brow and this brow. It's insane. So I've let that sit for a little bit. That's probably the layer you want to sit the longest, because I find if you go in with one gel right after the other, it's still wet and then it moves around a lot more, and it works a lot better if you kind of let it set. And usually I'm not just sitting here doing nothing while these dry. I'm doing my eyeshadow or my foundation or like other parts of my makeup basically, or my hair or whatever. So you can still make use of that time. You don't have to like sit there and wait. Last step, e.l.f. Clear Brow Gel. This is a fave. It's been a fave forever. I'm almost out of this tube. But nothing holds your hair in place like this brow gel. Absolutely nothing. The Anastasia one doesn't do as good of a job, although I do like that one. But yeah, it's just the best. It's like $2. If they ever discontinue it, I will cry. So again, you want to do this very lightly so that you're not touching your skin and moving around that product underneath. So I'm just doing it very lightly, and again, I'm really gonna kind of fluff up these hairs in the front because I like those to almost stick straight up. And then I'm just going to brush these back. If you want a slightly more structured look, you can kind of take the side of your brush and push these down a little bit, but I like to keep them up. And again, you don't want to do too much because that's when I find it starts looking weird. So sometimes I will take, if it starts getting gucky at all, I will take my clean spoolie and just sort of brush it out. Like that hair is going somewhere weird. And then I can take my little brush and kind of, again, get rid of any excess product. So and this gel dries pretty fast, but once it's kind of dried down, you can go back in with your pen if there's any areas that you're missing. Just again, don't overdo it, but I am gonna do a little bit up here. And that's my fluffy brow routine, guys. So as you can see, it's not perfect. It does look a little bit messy, but that's how I like it. I don't like it to look too groomed. I want it to look really bushy, but I still sometimes will obsess over little things, but I try not to. I try to stop while I'm ahead with the brows, or else I will sit there for like a full 30 minutes and just obsess basically. But yeah, this is how they're looking. So that's the difference, guys. That's how you turn this brow into this brow. So I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup so you can see what this looks like with a full face of makeup on, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's several hours later because I forgot to film this part, but wanted to show you what it looks like with a full face of makeup. This is what the brows look like, and you can see they hold up pretty well too. Here, I'll zoom you in. Would you like to be zoomed in? So yeah, this is what they look like with a full face of makeup. I know they look a little stark with no makeup, so I just wanted to show you what they look like. And it doesn't have to be this glam either. You could do it with a more natural, soft glam look. If you're wanting to do something similar but a little bit toned down, a lot of times what I do too is sort of not do quite as much with the pen and don't go like all the way in here. I kind of leave this part undone and just go in with the tinted brow gel, and that gives for a much more natural fluffy brow. But this has like some shape to it. It looks intentional, but it's still textured and fluffy and lovely. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful and you maybe learned a couple things, and I will see you all again soon. Okay, bye.